So we were going to talk some football with Zach Gelb. Zach hosts evenings nationally on CBS Sports Radio. He joins us every Wednesday during football season. He's on the Toyota of Hollywood hotline, but obviously, Zach, we cannot talk football. I mean, we can if you want, but I think we need to talk about Damian Lillard. So first of all, tell us, we were on the air. We were about 15 minutes into the show. News comes over. I look at Solana. There's tears streaming down his face, and I knew something was going on. I didn't know what. No, so how did you process the news? I didn't know Milwaukee was even in the conversation. How did you process the news when you heard it earlier today?
Shocked, stunned disbelief, because I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Damian Lillard was going to find his way to Miami, especially in an era where there's no league that embraces player empowerment more than the NBA. It seems like the player always, one way or another, even if it takes some time, finds a way to get his way. And we all knew that Dame's first choice, and it seemed like his only choice, was to go to Miami. But the longer this did play on out, it was, okay, is anyone else going to get to the table? Clearly the Bucks did. And it would be very fraudulent of Damian Lillard to say, oh, now I don't want to go to Milwaukee, where all of he's talked about for the last few years is wanting a chance to win a championship. And clearly he has that chance now.
And Gail, we talked about this, with a number of people today. What was Joe Cronin's thought process? Because if you look at the haul, is not as much as the Heat could have given him. What do you think his thought process was?
Yeah, and I know that they're not going to keep Drew Holiday now. It already looks like they're trying to trade him. Maybe he just thought DeAndre Jordan was the most attractive name, but I was surprised with all the buildup to this deal and the return for it. I was like, what were the Heat offering? Like, was it significantly worse? Maybe they just didn't value Tyler Herro, I think is a good young player in this league. So I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want the direction of the Miami Heat of, okay, Dame wants to go there, has to go there. And maybe that just kind of, when someone tells you don't want to, that you have to do something and you don't want to do it, maybe he just looked at the next available option where it's a good landing spot for Dame and you don't have to be told by Dame where you're going to go.
So that's how you feel, right? That it was ultimately just a case of Joe Cronin not trying to acquiesce to Damian Lillard's commands, because that's kind of how I feel now. And we had read that report from Anthony Chang, who had tweeted out from Dame's agent, basically saying that Pat and Andy and Mickey did everything they possibly could, and it was just a case of, which we had heard over the past week or so, Joe Cronin did not want to talk to the Miami Heat, period.
Well, I also read another report that didn't Pat Riley not have another call when their first trade report was rejected? So I guess it could go both ways. I don't know which side to tell. I think it just comes down to simply this. The first round pick is irrelevant. The pick swap, what is it? It's 2029. Who cares? Maybe they just really value DeAndre Jordan, who DeAndre Jordan's been so up and down, not looking like he's worth the number one overall pick. Then they get to the finals and he was absolutely sensational. Then he had the falling out with the old coach in Monty Williams, and he was back this year and no one thought he was going to be back. So maybe it just simply came down to they knew they were only going to get one really good player and they just valued DeAndre Jordan more than they did Tyler Herro.
We had Brian Geltzeiler on in the 3:00 hour from NBA radio, and I asked him on the way out the door, should Damian Lillard be given the finger to Joe Cronin and the Trailblazers for not sending him where he wanted to go, or should he be giving him a high five for pairing him up with Giannis and maybe giving him that championship chance that he's coveted?
I don't get how you could be mad today if you're Damian Lillard. We all know that he would have been the missing piece for the Heat to win an NBA championship. The Heat needed Damian Lillard. But if you look at this objectively, in order to have a better chance to win a championship, I think Dame with Giannis Antetokounmpo gives you a better chance than Dame with Jimmy Butler. So if I'm Damian Lillard, it may not be your preferred destination. And, I've been to Milwaukee before, but I get it, right? South Beach compared to Milwaukee, it pales in comparison in terms of the weather and all that. But if you're asking what's the better road to win a championship, Giannis is the better player than Jimmy Butler, and the Bucks have already done it before a few years ago in the last 2 years, whether it was Middleton getting hurt or Giannis getting hurt. It did seem like the injuries did play a factor why they weren't able to go further the last 2 years.
Who looks bad in this whole situation? Is
The
it
Heat.
Joe Cronin?
The Heat. I know you guys could spin it with Cronin, and ultimately you could say that maybe he could have got more. I don't know what the answer is to that, but we know that the Heat have a limit with Bam Adebayo, with Jimmy Butler, and I respect the crap out of what the Miami Heat have been able to do, but we've seen it now twice, them get to the finals and not win a championship. The Miami Heat, for this offseason to be a success, they had to go get Damian Lillard. I was convinced that they were going to get Damian Lillard. I said it 9,000 times on this show, and now it's just the air is out of the balloon where you'll have a competitive team. You'll know you have a feisty team. This Miami Heat team is not going anywhere, but right now, the clear favorite to win the NBA championship is Giannis Antetokounmpo with Damian Lillard with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Why is Tyler Herro not looked upon around the league with the same wide eyes that we have for him? Hasn't he shown enough that he's a valuable asset?
I think he's viewed as a good player. And I think, right, we do this with athletes a lot where we say they're a good player right now. And it's like, okay, what's the ceiling for Tyler Herro? And I don't know if Tyler Herro could be considered a great player the way that we all view a great player, but he's been impressive. I think Tyler Herro is someone that is a good piece, but I don't know if he's going to ever be elite or if he's going to be in that great category.
And Gelb, you said something. You said they're favorites to win the NBA period. I would say in the East, easily I'd say they're the best team, but they jumped the Nuggets that fast?
You know what? That's a good point that you bring up. Let me clarify that. In the Eastern Conference, they are the favorites. Nikola Jokic is on guard. I talked to Magic Johnson today, and we'll play that later tonight. And Magic basically had no answer on how to try to slow down Nikola Jokic, is what he does on a basketball court. So as long as Jokic and Murray are together and healthy, the Nuggets will always be there. That's a good point by you, Channing. And then also the Suns, I want to see Kevin Durant fail. I hated the way that he conducted himself in Brooklyn, never taking any accountability for all the moves that he made, and he held on to Kyrie Irving for way too long. But that trio now that they have with the Suns, if they could learn how to share the basketball, that's going to be a pretty damn good team. So those three teams are the favorites right now.
Oh, wait. So you're going to have Magic Johnson on your show tonight?
Yes.
He tweeted out that the Lakers are the cream of the crop in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And then Phoenix and then Denver, I think, right?
So we taped with him earlier this morning. So I'll say this. He thought Dame was going to go to Miami. Obviously, we're going to edit that out of the interview. But he talked about the Bucks part of it because I asked him about Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're also on in Milwaukee. And he said that he's never seen a player work harder than Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he put the organization on blast that now they have to take advantage and go put them in a situation to improve that team. And they have to answer the call. And they did that today. So that was basically some of what Magic said. And then I asked him how he views the Lakers this year, because I think people are unsure how to view the Lakers because no one thought they were getting the Western Conference Finals. And he said that, yeah, they're going to go to the finals.
But even, with Giannis Antetokounmpo now, I think his future in Milwaukee was a little uncertain. Some of the things that he's been saying over the past month or so, regarding his future. Do you think this solidifies him as content now with Milwaukee? Obviously, the results have to play out in their favor, but do you think this move was enough to keep him happy for at least another contract extension with the Bucks?
Absolutely. So Giannis, the last time his contract was close to getting up, said similar things. This is not the first time Giannis has said this. Giannis has said this for multiple years now. And this was, once again, winning a championship. One championship is not enough. And he wants to go win another one and another one and another one. And he felt like last year it was slipping. And we saw him get blasted in the playoffs. And I thought he had a horrible answer, not admitting that this year was a failure. And I think that finally got to him. And Peter Fagan and John Horst, the president and the GM, they listened to their superstar and they went out there against all odds and they got Damian Lillard. We led a charge last time Giannis was a free agent when everyone was trying to get him out of the small market of Milwaukee. Keep the Greek freak and sign the Supermax with the hashtags and the charge that we were leading. And the president of the Bucks actually thanked us for our support of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So there's been talk. I'm well-versed in this. There's been talks of him leaving for years. He stayed, won a championship, a new contract, and now it was challenging the organization today. And now they bring in Damian Lillard, who are both two not a ton of ego guys, selfless guys that are well-respected in this league. If you're Giannis who wants to stay in Milwaukee, why would you leave now after getting Damian Lillard?
I mean, if you ever needed proof positive that we're out there working to surround you with the best players, like Milwaukee just gave him everything that he wanted.
And Chris Middleton's still there, who is
Right.
a very underrated player who in that championship run was pretty much closer Chris. And you remember in the Eastern Conference Finals when Giannis got hurt, Chris Middleton was phenomenal.
What about Drew Holiday, though? Because he's going to be on the move, it seems like. And the Heat, I was saying to Solana and Crowder
Sixers.
earlier, so I was saying that the Solana and Crowder, like this narrative that we want to create that Joe Cronin would not deal with the Heat and would not deal with Pat Riley. Cronin can wipe all that away right now by dealing Drew Holiday to the Heat. And I don't think the Heat can just be standoffish now about that, and say, well, we don't want to deal with you, because they could use Drew Holiday on that team. So you think that could potentially end up happening?
I'll get a chuckle out of the line I'm going to say from Channing. Sounds like sloppy seconds, if we're being honest here. Doesn't it?
Dame. We got Drew Holiday.
It's like I want to go to sleep with the girl that's a 10, but I settle for the 6 because I know I had no chance with the 10.
Drew's more than a 6. Come on.
He's a good player. But do you think you're winning it? If you got Damian Lillard today, the 4 of us, Heat are winning a championship. That's the missing piece. Yeah. You get Drew Holiday. I know Solana will spin it as it's the greatest thing in the world and he's the next coming of Jesus Christ. But let's be real. Most of us know he's a good player. He's a very good player, but he's not someone that's going to be the difference of the Heat winning a championship or not. But they should go explore it.
But isn't he, I would say way better, but he's a extreme upgrade to Kyle Lowry right now.
Yeah.
Good get rid of the contract.
And Kyle Lowry's a good player, but we just got to see if the guy could stay healthy and what he has left in the tank.
I know you're talking about the Suns, by the way, but I'm confused at this because when you're looking at the Suns, I mean, for them, it's title or bust. Didn't they just help a contender, a team they might have to face in the NBA Finals to be better than them? I mean, you put Milwaukee as the best team right now in the NBA, and the Suns as 2 or 3. Didn't they just help Giannis Antetokounmpo kind of make a team that could beat them in the finals?
Yeah, you could argue that. You knew that they eventually had to get rid of DeAndre Jordan. That was inevitable ever since he re-signed with them, and that was just so bizarre. But I think if you're the Suns, you worry about the Western Conference first and getting past a team like the Denver Nuggets that were basically unbeatable last year. And then if you meet the Bucks in the finals, I'm not saying that the Suns definitely win it, but that's going to be a heck of a series, and you go from there.
Gelb, this Saturday night, I went to dinner with my wife and I, with Ryan Sense, the owner of Funky Buddha, and his wife, Gianni. And we went to an Italian restaurant. And Solana and Crowder, for a couple of years, have given me grief because if I'm in the mood at an Italian restaurant, I will order spaghetti and meatballs. And Solana says that's a non-starter at an Italian restaurant. Crowder says that's a kid's item. I ordered it Saturday night. Had a delicious meal. I'm very glad that I did. Where do you stand on this hot button topic?
Yeah, so I would be ordering something other than spaghetti and meatballs. It's not like a sin, but I think there's better items on the menu. Like if you want to go with a rigatoni alla vodka, if you want to go with a little gnocchi in a blush sauce with some sausage, that could also be better. Linguine with clam sauce. I'm not against spaghetti and meatballs, but it's not. Put it this way: the spaghetti and meatballs like Drew Holiday. It's not the Damian Lillard of the pastas for me.
No, because when you eat spaghetti and meatballs, you go home and watch Paw Patrol.
I mean, I understand where you go because I don't order it every time. But if I'm in the mood for spaghetti and meatballs,
not horrible.
I understand what you're saying. Like if I want gnocchi, I'll get that. But if I'm in the mood for spaghetti and meatballs, what's the shame in ordering that?
No, I don't think it's horrible. Solana's had by far and away worse food takes than spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that guy, he doesn't know if he's coming or going. What's your go-to order at the Italian restaurant, Solana?
Yeah, it depends. I like what Gelb just said there. No, I mean, you said a little gnocchi, you know what I mean? But I'll go with a ravioli alla vodka. Maybe
I love how he has this Italian accent now. You know what I mean? The gnocchi, the pasta.
I'm just saying, like, I'll go with
Mario Brothers,
the taglioni, cacio e pepe. I strongly believe
Hawk's there in his high chair. Whoop, whoop. Spaghetti and meatball. You're like Chris Berman. Whoop, whoop.
Gelb, I strongly believe if an Italian restaurant has spaghetti and meatballs on their actual menu, not the kids' menu, an actual menu, then it's not a real Italian restaurant.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
It's
that's
just not.
ridiculous.
I will say my grandmother's Italian and she's a saint in the kitchen. The one thing, though, she was not ever great at cooking was spaghetti and meatballs. That's the one thing that she was just not great at. Every other Italian dish, A1, phenomenal. So, you could be onto something there, Solana.
No, I would argue the other side. If you go to an Italian restaurant and they don't have spaghetti meatballs on the menu, it's not an Italian restaurant.
You gotta have that's always gonna be on the menu, spaghetti and meatballs.
That's what I'm saying. Like you'd be if you go into an Italian restaurant, they don't have that on the menu. You're where are you?
They give you the kitty toy as well with that meal too.
I was gonna say you want mandarin
Crowns.
oranges or apple slices? Which one? What's
All right. Listen, you guys.
What are the appetizers? Here's the big question.
We had calamari.
Okay.
And then we had the antipasti. We had the
Yeah.
actually
Charcuterie board.
meat and cheese tray.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No baked clams there. I'm a big baked clams guy at Italian restaurant.
No, my wife got linguine with clams as her entree.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not ordering the burrata or the mozzarella or the caprese,
How about this?
are you
You wanna
kidding
know
me?
something? Big hunk of burrata right on the spaghetti and meatballs. So fangu. We got to let Zach go.
Do we have to dump that? Just wondering.
No, I'm not certain. I don't know. I think it's okay.
Solana's asleep at the wheel.
If we were in Sicily, we'd have
Can I
to
just
dump
say
that.
one
I think
thing?
we're fine.
Where are the Dallas Cowboys fans that went after my dear friend Channing Crowder for giving an accurate take, and those disgusting cockroaches lose to the Arizona Cardinals, and Dak Prescott, when they gave him a little bit of hope,
He's
through
trying
one of
to
the
get you in
worst
trouble again,
interceptions
Crowder.
that you'll
Trying to
ever
get you in
see.
trouble.
And where are those Dallas Cowboys fans? Crowder was 1,000% right, and it only took us 1 week to realize it.
My man Gelb, I appreciate you, brother.
You know what? And that wasn't like Ryan Clark on the pivot. I actually have your back instead of all this stuff that, Channing's my guy. I'll ride with him until the end. No, I'm actually in the trenches. I'm doing the fighting on the internet for one Channing Crowder. And if I'm an Oxnard next year, boo, Dak Prescott, you suck.
He's still not coming on your show again, Gelb.
Four. What's up, Four? Love you, man.
Gave it a shot. Zach Gelb, CBS Sports Radio Network. Thank you, Zach.
Later, guys. Be well. And my condolences. Sad Peppers today. I apologize. I'm wearing black for you.
Sad Peppers. Yeah.
Peppers,
No Peppers
so-
today. No Peppers.